Dying is an unfortunate side effect of being a rapper. The average age of a rapper at the time of their death is under 30 years old. Some unlucky deaths occur even earlier than that. Since rap has such close ties to the gang world, it's likely that a lot of young rappers simply haven't become successful enough to get out of that life before it takes them. Other rappers get caught up in drug culture and addiction. Whatever the cause of death, losing these talented musicians so young is tragic. Here are some of the most recent rappers that were gone by the age of 21. Pop Smoke. Brooklyn-born rapper Pop Smoke was one of the biggest acts to come into the rap scene in 2019. Growing up in New York, he was lucky enough to live around rappers and producers. He started hanging out with them as a teenager, learning all about the recording process, from the equipment to the writing. He got to know more and more people in the industry, and with their help, he started making remixes and putting them online. With a lot of positive attention from friends and family, as well as online fans, he started writing original songs. He created a unique sound that was an immediate hit with listeners. In July 2019, Pop Smoke's debut mixtape, Meet the Woo, was released under Victor Victor Worldwide and Republic Records. It topped out on the Billboard 200 at 105, but did surprisingly well in Denmark, hitting their number 31 spot. The lead single, Welcome to the Party, brought tons of fame and money his way, and when Nicki Minaj released a remix of it, his name went mainstream. Fans wanted more. Some more singles from the tape came out too. Flexin' and Dior were the top tracks. On February 7, 2020, the follow-up mixtape, Meet the Woo 2, was released under the same labels and debuted at an incredible number 7 on the US Billboard 200. With features from Fabio Foreign, Lil TJ, Quavo, and more fellow rappers, the mixtape was a massive hit. So big that 5 days later, he released a deluxe edition with even more features from Nav, Gunna, and PNB Rock. Sadly, Pop Smoke would only be able to enjoy that success for 1 week, because on February 19, 2020, he was shot and killed during a home invasion. Let's go back to the beginning. The story of Pop's early death begins the day before the murder took place. The rapper was riding the high of the success of the Meet the Woo series. He was working with established artists and was even setting up to work on his debut studio album. He made a post to Instagram showing off a couple of gift bags that were given to him. One bag had a tag that clearly showed his home address. All of his followers saw it, and not all of his followers were fans. A couple of hours later, he made another IG post, an image of him and a friend hanging out in his car in the driveway of his house, posing with stacks of cash. The temptation of all that cash and knowing exactly where to get it was too much for some teenage followers. So a group decided that they'd head over and take what they wanted. 4 teens, aged 15 to 19, entered the home with loaded guns to look for money, jewelry, and anything else of value. They found Pop Smoke alone and started firing, hitting the rapper several times. A friend in the house called 911 as the intruders fled, and Pop was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Hollywood. He was pronounced dead a few minutes after arriving at the ER. All 4 intruders have caught murder and robbery charges and are currently locked up on a $1 million bail. Lil Peep. Gustav Elijah R., aka Lil Peep, was born in 1996 in Pennsylvania, but grew up mostly in New York. His father wasn't around much, but other than that, he seemed to have a pretty good life. He went to school and got good grades, even making the dean's list. He didn't really like going to school though, so he later dropped out, deciding to get his GED online instead. Since he didn't have school to deal with, he was free to make music. After a while, he had a pretty healthy following on YouTube and SoundCloud. At 17, he got a face tattoo and moved to Los Angeles to follow his passion for music. Without any money, Lil Peep was mostly homeless, bouncing between friends' couches and park benches. But living in LA exposed him to members of the hip-hop industry that would help him get started. With their industry know-how, he released his debut mixtape, Lil Peep Part 1, in 2015. It grabbed thousands of plays in its first week, catapulting Peep into real fame. He joined First Access Entertainment in 2016 in a venture to invest and advise him on his career. In other words, they would manage him, make sure he got paid well, and would take a cut from his success. With a big company behind him, he was putting out song after song and even started touring in 2017. After that tour was finished, Peep decided to move to London, where he could get away from all the drama back home and just focus on making music. He recorded a ton, putting out tons of mixtapes and an EP. His debut studio album, Come Over When You're Sober, Part 1, was released on August 15, 2017. It was his first and only album. In September 2017, Lil Peep started his first ever world tour. beginning in the UK before moving on to Germany and then back home to the US. On November 15th, Peep was in Tucson, Arizona for a tour stop. In the hours before the show was supposed to start, the rapper started posting to Instagram, saying that he had taken a bunch of magic mushrooms and concentrated THC. That might set you up for a bad time, but it won't kill you. People who saw it didn't overthink it, but when he started posting about taking a bunch of Xanax pills, followers were concerned. He even showed a video clip of him taking an unidentified pill. The final post was captioned, "When I die, you'll love me." He then went to take a nap just before 6 p.m. His manager checked on him a couple of times and found him to be sleeping soundly and breathing fine, but the third time he checked, Peep wasn't breathing. Medics arrived and pronounced him dead at the scene. The final cause of death was ruled to be an accidental overdose. He was positive for weed, cocaine, painkillers, and several opioids, including oxycodone. Several tributes followed his death at age 21, with artists like Trippie Redd, Lil Uzi Vert, Dua Lipa, and Post Malone coming out to give their condolences. Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD first entered the music scene in Chicago in 2015 with the track Forever at 17. Inspired by a unique blend of musicians including Fall Out Boy, Black Sabbath, Wu-Tang Clan, and Megadeth, he brought emo rap to mainstream listeners. His artistic style was unique in hip-hop and had been called rock-leaning and gender-bending. His lyrics are targeted to broken hearts and hurt feelings, which converted some rock and punk listeners to the hip-hop side of music. There's a reason his lyrics were so dark and sad. His mother says that he had been dealing with anxiety and depression throughout his life. He also had a long history of drug abuse. In an interview, he says that drugs open doors to feel emotions that you probably wouldn't feel. It can destroy you, utterly destroy you. He fought hard to stay off pills like Xanax and Percocet, saying, "I smoke weed, and every now and then, I slip up and do something that's poor judgment. I have a lot going for me." He did have a lot going for him, that's true. In 2017, he managed to get a $3 million record deal at Interscope Records, and in 2018, his first major track, Lucid Dreams, was released as a single, and a video was shot. The song peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, and today, it is the 20th most streamed song on Spotify with nearly 1.5 billion streams. It also has 614 million views on YouTube as of December 2020. On December 8, 2019, Juice was leaving Los Angeles to head home to Chicago. However, local police have been tipped off that the private plane taking Juice and his crew to Midway International Airport was also bringing a lot of illegal items, like weapons and drugs. Law enforcement was waiting when the plane arrived, and they jumped on board to do a search. Juice got a bit freaked out by what they were going to find on him, so he swallowed a bunch of prescription-less Percocet pills to hide them. The police found 3 handguns and 70 pounds of marijuana on the plane. They hadn't even finished their search before things went south. While the cops were searching, Juice WRLD started having a seizure. They suspected that it was due to an opioid overdose, which was correct, and gave him 2 doses of Narcan. They were able to get him to the hospital, but he was pronounced dead soon after arriving. A month later, it was found that he had overdosed on oxycodone and codeine. There was controversy following the rapper's death, when Louisiana rapper Boosie Badass blamed the pilot for Juice's death.
The one who told the fucking people they had guns on the plane? Bitch, you shouldn't, what? You the one made them, the fucking people come search the plane. That's why he swallowed the shit, the rat, the fucking snitches. It's a worldwide fucking epidemic. Snitches.
When the pilot noticed what his passengers were bringing on board, like a large number of drugs and guns, he contacted authorities. That's how the police knew to be waiting for the plane. Boosie went so far as to threaten the pilot with violence in an interview.
I won't beat that fucking pilot ass. Somebody need to beat that fucking pilot ass, bro.
Juice's mother hopes that her son's death will help others in their fight against addiction, saying, "Addiction knows no boundaries, and its impact goes beyond the person fighting it." She later started the Live Free 999 Fund to support programs for disadvantaged youth and other underserved groups in her son's memory. They focus on addiction treatment and counseling for anxiety and depression. Well, that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up and let us know in the comments what you'd like to see in the future. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button so you never miss any great content like this. Catch you in the next video.